Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to be looking at the common data section in TIA Portal. So in here we have common data that is applicable for all hardware items in the PLC. That doesn't mean that every single hardware item will use this, but if it is capable of using it, then these settings that are in here will apply to everything. So in here we can set things such as alarm classes, and our system diagnostic settings, and also our supervision settings. In order for some of this stuff to work, you do need at least one asset, one PLC or HMI in your project that is making use of PLC supervisions and alarms. So all I've got in here is a basic tag, and then the system goes off and creates its supervision function block in the PLC, which we can see up here in program blocks, default supervision DB. We haven't covered supervised tags yet, but we will do in the future. And essentially, this opens up options down here in supervision settings, which otherwise would be grayed out. So I just wanted to point that out in case you go away and have a look at this yourself and can't work out why all your options are grayed out. So let's start with alarm classes. In here, in the common data, is just the alarm classes that are being used. I don't have any alarm classes right now because I'm not making use of alarms in PLCs or HMIs because I don't have a particular project set up. But the common alarm classes are in here. And then if we go to system diagnostics settings, this is just, again, you have some categories. Well, this is the only thing that's in here. General settings shows the categories, or you can go down to categories, which is the same thing. It's just whether or not you need to acknowledge errors or infos or whatever. If a PLC or HMI is making use of this category, then this is what the alarm class would be. And then supervision settings is a little bit more involved. It's to do with setting up your supervisions for your PLC-driven alarms. There's lots of options in here for subcategories, types of supervision, whether or not you can trigger on operand, interlock, reaction. All of this stuff is best covered in its own category. And then you also get some alarm text, so how you want your alarms to be shown as a common format between your PLCs and HMIs. The other thing that you get is some log files. We don't have any generated, but you get some common data log files, and you also get instruction profiles, which is worth going through and can be of some use. So at the moment we have two 1500 PLCs set up in our project. We've got PLC 1, which is a 1511, and PLC 2, which is also a 1511. And what we can do is say if we've got a S7 1500 family PLC in our project, we can say we don't want them to be able to use timer functions, for example. And now when we go into here, we can see that all of the IEC timing blocks have been turned off. Now if I go into PLC 1 and I go into my main and I try to use a timer, so TON, it's not defined anymore. It's saying that that's not defined. However, we all know that a TON is a standard instruction. So if we go and have a look at our instructions palette here, you can see now that they are filtered. So I go to basic instructions, timer options, it's there, but it won't let me actually use that's the TON coil. It won't actually let me use that TON instruction. That timer profile has gone. If I go back to my profile here and I turn on timer operations, it tells me it needs to close and reopen OB1. Now when I go back to main, let's just delete that one, and I try to use ton, it's now available again. Now the reason for this is if you have more than one PLC family in your project, say an S1200 and an S1500 or a 71500 rather, there are certain instructions that are available in a 1200 that aren't available in a 1500 and vice versa. There's even more that aren't available in a 300. So for a point of view of keeping things neat and tidy and instruction sets being very similar and a similar feel to your project, when looking in particular PLCs, you can filter out particular instruction sets. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a great idea, a great method of doing that stuff. However, it can allow for easy upgrades later on if you know that you haven't made use of any features or functions that won't be available in a different processor.